How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Reef Builders video. I'm your host, Jake Adams, and I have a very special video I have put together for you today. Over the last 10 years, since the Reef Builders video YouTube channel was established, I have shared so many individual videos of rare, exotic, and unusual fish. It just turns out that so many of these are actually very expensive. My first ever top 10 video is on the most expensive aquarium fish. Now, I could have made this list 50 fish long, but I've avoided talking about very rare fish, unusual fish, one-off hybrids, and things like that. You know, the very special fish that are one of a kind. So without further ado, here's my top 10 most expensive aquarium fish, starting out at number 10. The feminine wrasse, Anemcis femininus, is named after the female for its beautiful coloration, which consists of a bright yellow body with electric blue stripes that merge into a solid blue tail. This fish ranges throughout the South Pacific from Australia to Easter Island, and the aquarium hobby, it will generally cost you anywhere from $600 to $900, maybe upwards of $1,000. This fish was filmed in the aquarium of Kevin Cohen, the director of Live Aquaria, and there's many crazy animals in this aquarium, not just fish, including, if you look in this freeze frame, a royal sea apple and some Balaniophilia corals. There's not much to say about this fish. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it'll just knock you away in any kind of reef aquarium environment. And if you've seen one of these fish before, you definitely remember it. Number 9 on this list is the one and only candy basslet, Leopropoma carmabi. The candy basslet comes from the Caribbean and is most often found in the southern parts of the Caribbean. It has a preference for deep water habitats and likes to hide in and out of holes. So it's hard to catch because you have to dive deep and you have to know how to catch this fish. In the American aquarium market, this fish generally costs about $1,000. Occasionally, you'll find a deal on one for $750 to $800. But in Asia, this fish is going to cost well north of $1,000. Like the femininus wrasse, it has this beautiful coloration with a bright yellow body and these brilliant purple stripes with a flag tail. And this is another fish that is really well worth the money if you have those kind of means. So this is an aquarium classic. Definitely look out for one if you ever get the chance to see it, and totally worthy of being on this list. Number 8 most expensive aquarium fish is the CONSPIC angelfish, Chaetodonopleus conspicillatus. This is a very enigmatic fish that is mostly known off the east coast of Australia and up to New Caledonia. Most of the aquarium specimens generally hail from New Caledonia. And one thing that's really neat about this fish is it has what's called an inverted price structure. So the smaller the fish, the more expensive it is. And that's because smaller specimens adapt much better to aquarium life. This specimen was filmed in the aquarium of Chris Campbell, and the CONSPIC, for short, is one of my all-time favorite rare aquarium fish. I've never owned one, but the fine scales making for that really smooth body color is just something I will never get over. I love this fish. Generally will cost around $1,500 to $2,000, up to $5,000 for a small one. But if you see this fish in person, I think you'll agree it's well worth it. Number 7 is the first surgeonfish on our list, the gem tang, Zebrasoma gemmatum. This is definitely a status symbol fish. The yellow tang is available widely in aquariums for about $50. A nicer version would be the Red Sea purple tang for $200. But if you want the ultimate surgeonfish, you've got to go with a gem tang. This is a fish that I worshipped when I was a kid. I'll never forget seeing pictures of this fish in books. And the price of this fish is going to vary quite a bit depending on when you live. The gem tang comes from the Western Indian Ocean, which is much closer to Europe than it is to America. So in Europe, this fish might cost as little as 500 euros per fish, about $600 or $700. But in America, you're looking at about $1,500 to $2,000 for a single fish. Some of these fish are seen here were filmed at one of my local fish stores, Stone Aquatics, which has a tank with 5 of them, and it's really just their personal collection. But this is a fish, again, I've never kept one myself, and I would love to have one, even though I love yellow tangs, I love purple tangs. There's just something about a gem tang that's definitely on my bucket list. Number 6 is the wrought iron butterflyfish. Chitodon didama from Japan is a gorgeous species of butterflyfish with a unique coloration from all other species. Generally, butterflyfish have a lightish, cream-colored body, but what makes the wrought iron butterflyfish so special is that it has this black wrought iron appearance that looks like obsidian scales edged in white. Meanwhile, the dorsal, anal, and tail fin are edged in a bright yellow. The reason this fish is in such high demand is because it's a hardy and a great aquarium fish. It's easy to keep, they have great personality, and outside of Japan, you might expect this fish to cost in the neighborhood of $2,000 to $2,500. If it's a small specimen, it's going to cost a little bit more because those are more rare. This fish is not rare because of status symbol or expensive because of that reason. It's just a beautiful, gorgeous fish, and simply not that many of them are shipped out of Japan. But this fish definitely deserves to be on this list. I always appreciate seeing one in person, and I hope you will next time you see one yourself. Number 5 is the sunrise hogfish. Bodianus sanguinus is a striking species of hogfish that is endemic to the Hawaiian Islands. What makes this fish particularly expensive is that it lives really deep, so divers really have to risk their lives just to get to this fish, but once these fish are collected, it is well worth it. This hardy aquarium fish is suitable for a wide range of different aquarium environments. It eats all kinds of foods very readily, and it has this brilliant red body with a yellow stripe going straight across the dorsal. An average price for a sunrise hogfish might range between $2,500 and $3,500, and that's a lot of money for a red fish with a yellow stripe. But since there's only a few people in the world who are qualified to go diving very deep for this fish in Hawaii, the risk of their lives is reflected in the cost of the fish. One thing that many of the fish in this video have in common is that they are species which I have appreciated since I was young. When I first learned of the sunrise hogfish, there was only one photograph of this species alive taken from a deep sea submersible, but thankfully, due to a growing aquarium hobby, this fish is much more widespread, and I generally see 1 or 2 a year, and it's still one of my favorites. Number 4 is the Clarion angelfish, Holocanthus clarionensis. Comes off the west coast of Mexico. Now, up until a few years ago, all of the specimens of this fish were wild caught, but Bali Aquarich in Indonesia has been very successful at producing a ton of these fish for the global aquarium market, but that has not really changed the cost of this fish. Like so many other species, smaller specimens tend to cost more than their adult counterparts, and a captive bred specimen from Bali Aquarich will generally cost about $3,000 to $3,500 in America, and perhaps more in some other countries. One of the reasons for the huge demand in this fish and the expensive cost is due to its solid orange adult coloration, and the red color is associated with wealth and prosperity in Asian cultures, particularly China. Number 3 is the first freshwater fish on our list, the black diamond stingray. Hailing from the Amazon River basin of Brazil, this fish was virtually unavailable up until about 2008. The black diamond stingray is a special form of the Leopoldi species, and it is characterized by having a black body with white spots. Now, with all things collectible, aquarists have noticed a range of patterns in black diamond stingrays, and these range in cost depending on their appearance. Generally, a small captive bred specimen of black diamond stingray might set you back about $3,000 to $5,000 depending on the quality, and upwards of $10,000 or more. That's right, $10,000 for a single fish. But when you see how striking this fish is in person with that jet black body and those bright white spots, you can see how it can tug at the heartstrings of aquarists. This species is considered rare by some in its native environment of Brazil, but thankfully most aquarium specimens are now captive bred. There's just something truly striking about the color combination of a black diamond stingray, and we really appreciate every time we get to see one. Number 2 on the list is the masked angelfish, Genicanthus personatus. Like the sunrise hogfish, it is endemic to the Hawaiian Islands. What makes this fish very expensive is that it is very high demand due to its beautiful bright white coloration, and where it is legally collected, it occurs in very deep water, putting aquarium fish collectors at risk. Now, what you see here are captive bred masked angelfish that were produced by Karen Britton. Although these fish are captive bred and there's no risk to any collectors, the demand for these fish is still very high. The angelic white coloration of these fish is unlike any other species of angelfish, and it's truly something to behold. These fish show a juvenile coloration with that white body and a black eye stripe, but as they mature, one specimen will turn into a male, and the males are also solid white, but with a brilliant yellow-orange dorsal and anal fin to frame its unusual face, which is also a bright yellow. These fish are still too young to have developed into male coloration, and I have yet to see a nice large captive bred male Genicanthus personatus, but this is again one of those fish that is truly a sight to behold, and really thankful we got the chance to film them at our local fish store, Stone Aquatics. The number 1 most expensive aquarium fish is the red Asian arowana. Hailing from various parts of Southeast Asia and Indonesia, this fish is very threatened over much of its range, but thankfully the most desirable aquarium specimens are all captive bred. The red coloration is one of many which has been domesticated, a strain of aquarium fish, and this specimen right here is not just any fish. This is the grand champion at the Aquarium AROWANA competition from 2013. A captive bred red arowana usually starts in price at about $3,000 and up, depending on quality, but since this fish is the grand master, the grand champion, the big dog of the AROWANA competition, it is virtually priceless because of its offspring will be in very high demand. There's talks that this fish might be worth upwards of $40,000, $50,000, or $100,000, but the real price of this fish is unknown. What is known is that this is an amazing fish, and when you get to see one, it is truly an experience. There you have it, you guys. That was my list of the most expensive aquarium fish. These fish are very expensive because they're very highly sought after, and they're really striking to look at. And now, one really common comment that I get whenever I share a story about rare fish is, if it's so rare, why not leave it in the wild? Now, what makes these fish rare is not because they're rare in the wild. Very few of these are actually threatened with any kind of real pressure from aquarium collection. If you'll notice, the top 4 most expensive aquarium fish, the masked angelfish, the CLARION, the black diamond stingray, and the red Asian arowana, are all captive bred. They are farms that are dedicated to producing some of these fish. So the more expensive the fish, the more likely someone's going to take the time to breed it in captivity and make sure that there's a steady supply. So I really hope you've enjoyed these videos. I've been working really hard to step up my game, putting a lot of energy into sprucing up the channel. We've been around for 10 years, but I'm finally engaging you, the viewers, to make sure that you have the best aquarium videos on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. We have a lot of great things in store for this channel, including some great giveaways. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.